listening to Opinions and Beer.
And opinions and beer. Two guys and another guy. Will never happen again.
Hello and welcome to Opinions and Beer. We're your hosts. I'm Adam.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Keenan.
And we've got Brendan with us. And we also got Bob Gonzalez. Hey, Bob! Yes! Oh, yeah. We're going to have fun times talking with this guy. But first, before we get into that, you guys know we've got to do the beer of the day.
Which is Wild Sour by Distill Brewery? Distill? That's how limited release Blueberry Crumble.
This is a sour ale with blueberry, vanilla, cinnamon flavor, and lactose, coming in at 5.2% alcohol volume.
And 10% IBU.
Do you want to read that right there?
Absolutely. I can't stand being called on in reading class. The limited release sour ale is brewed with. Someone else read it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I can read it after. I hate being
This
called on.
limited release sour ale is brewed with blueberry puree, vanilla, cinnamon flavor, and lactose, creating a beer with a vibrant purple color, sweetness, and spice reminiscence of the flavors of the classic dessert, Blueberry Crumble. Cheers.
Okay, so you're looking for blueberry, vanilla, cinnamon.
Okay. That's a lot. But okay.
It smells like a Fig Newton. It's like a Fig
Oh, it does smell like a Fig Newton. Very Fig Newton-y. You get that aroma right there.
I snorted the shit trying to get the smell.
But I'm getting more of the classic sour smell personally. So it's okay. You want to try this beer?
It's got chunks in it.
Yeah, it does have. Mine doesn't have chunks. Yours have
Chunks are good.
Yours has chunks of
Chunks is yummy.
unfermented, unfiltered properties.
At the end, could you get my glass for me? The Brew Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
We're sorry about this, Bob. It just takes a minute.
Take your time.
But I'm gonna try this beer. Oh yeah, the blueberry and vanilla.
Oh.
Blueberry and vanilla come through.
If you pour it wrong, it has so much head.
Oh my God!
But
yours has a lot of
I didn't
stuff
tilt
in it
the
too.
glass.
Mine doesn't have no. I think that's a trube at the bottom. I think this is unfiltered, and so there's gonna be a lot of trube at the
I
bottom.
was in a hurry to catch up.
I gave him the rest of mine, and I didn't have any. I don't have any floaties or trube, so I think it's just unfiltered, like King Violent beer. King Violent beer had
This is some good shit. It tastes like a pastry.
a pastry. This tastes like a pastry, Bob.
Yeah.
Be jealous.
But we'll get the rating of this beer at the end of the episode. We'll sip on it for a minute. Bob Gonzalez, folks. Oh my God. Are you a big craft beer guy?
I like. I just had one a minute ago from a place called McGuire's. They make their own beer, a red ale, they call it.
Oh yeah, McGuire's
dude,
Red
I
Ale.
love me a red ale.
Yeah. They're Irish.
Oh, yeah.
Irish pub.
All right, so was it like it's rich in caramel, like as you want from a red ale brand?
You know, I'm not sure how they make them. I know they make all their own beer there. They got a bunch of different kinds, but I like the red ale because it's closest to a lager.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, Bob, you wrote a book recently, the Fish Tales, I believe. It's a book. It's a bunch of stories about fishing and fishing trips, I believe. Tell us about this book you wrote.
Well, I got a copy of it right here for you. A
flicker in the water. That's what it is.
Yeah, inside the tales. The forward for the book. You guys familiar with Old Man in the Sea?
Old Man.
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are.
Yes, I'm familiar with the Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah, his granddaughter Mariel wrote the forward for the book. Ernest Hemingway's granddaughter.
Wow.
Wait, hold on.
Amazing.
I'm not familiar. So what is the Old Man of the Sea?
The Old Man in the Sea is a book by Ernest Hemingway. It's a book about a man. It's a metaphorical book. You know, the fish and the man represent many things to people who read the book.
Life of Pi?
Yeah, exactly. It's a very deep and philosophical book, and it really, when you read it, it's like on base level, It's about a man trying to catch a fish. But when you dig deeper than that, there are so many more layers to it, to the old man in the sea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he used to live in Key West, and then he moved to Cuba, and he wrote the book while he was living in Cuba. Yeah, it's about a marlin. They go way offshore to catch a marlin. It's an old man who hasn't caught a fish in like 79 days. He's unlucky. And then finally he hooks this marlin, and he brings the marlin in all by himself. And by the time he gets back to the dock, though, the marlin's eaten up by sharks. So when he gets to the dock, all that's left are the bones. So, and that's all they see at the dock when he returns. It's like a 3-day story. The marlin pulls him way out to sea. He's only in a little like rowboat, and the marlin pulls him way out. But anyway, that book won the Nobel Prize in 1954 for literature.
You could say it's about the struggles between man and the struggles he goes through in life. You can say it's about what does life give you at the end of its tale. And many, many things correlate with the man in the sea.
Yeah. So anyway, his granddaughter, Mariel, wrote the foreword for the book. I don't know if you can see her name.
Oh,
there.
heck yeah.
Yeah, she said the book gave her a great sense of appreciation. I guess she was able to understand what her...
like Man in the Sea too?
Mine is a collection of stories, though. We caught a few marlins in my book, and we caught amberjacks, red snappers, groupers.
What inspired you to write this book?
Well, I just wanted to do it because the stories are personal to me, and I just wanted to get it out there and do the best job I could in writing it, and have fun doing it. And I think I did that.
Sometimes a story is so good, you can't just let it fade into memory. You need to write it down. You got to tell people.
I want it down on paper. Yeah.
It's not a philosophical debate between man and fish, but your own like personal fishing stories.
Yeah, these are personal fishing stories for the most part. I talk about Odysseus, the son of the god of the sea, and things like that. Yeah, but most of them are stories that are personal to me. I even gave one of the fish a nickname, Marble Eye. Marble Eye was
was that one of the what kind of fish was Marble Eye?
An amberjack.
Amberjack?
Yeah, he was 110 pounds, but he was really old, and he didn't have a pupil. I looked like a marble, so I called him Marble Eye.
Oh, that is interesting.
That's a big fish. That's 100 pounds of fish,
Yeah.
That sounds like an interesting story, but like, if everything that you have in this book is just a collection of fishing stories?
No, it's his stories though. But like I said, like he wrote them in a way that is storytelling.
There's narrative?
Yeah. The what? Narrative, yeah.
Every fishing story has a narrative when you get down to it. I mean, if you really wanted to be cheeky, you could just boil down the old man in the sea, like he mentioned earlier. You could just boil that down to a man catches a fish, but he fucks up bringing it back. But there's many, many layers to things like this, and I'm pretty sure stories out of his book share similarities in the sense that there's a story that goes with catching every fish.
There's a story about beer in this book that you guys will love. A friend of mine who I used to fish with all the time, we call him Drawbridge in the book, right? He took the boat from Destin. He was going to take it to Cabo San Lucas, go across the Panama Canal to fish a tournament. The boat was loaded with beer, right? And it only had a little walkway from the bridge down to the bathroom. Everything else was loaded with cans of beer. He got caught in some really rough weather around Cuba. And instead of going to Cabo San Lucas, he had to detour and go to Cancun because the weather was so rough. They had to call the Coast Guard and everything. But finally, they made it to Cancun. And when they got to Cancun, he was so excited and happy that he was there. But the Mexican authorities, they confiscated all the beer.
No! He confiscated all the dang beer.
That'll happen right there.
How did you how does one come across these type of stories?
Well, you have to live them, I guess. For me,
What brought you to live these stories?
Well, because I love to fish in the ocean. I live right on the ocean in Destin, Florida, and I have fished. I fished here for 15 years, and after 15 years of fishing, you start to accumulate these stories, and I wanted to get them down, and I think they're in a fun way.
Like, that's great because like thinking about it, like we're over here in Texas and in the southeast of Texas, and like from dirty Cajun family members of mine, I've heard some crazy swamp stories.
Yeah.
So it's like in the same vein as like fishing stories, swamp stories. You know, they teach you about life.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and there's some spiritual. I talk about God in the book a little bit and what fishing means to mankind, going all the way back to the time of Jesus. You know, with Jesus with the nets, when they lowered the nets, they fished all night and caught nothing. And his disciples, and then he told them, lower your nets. And they didn't want to. He said, come on, we fished all night and caught nothing. But if you say lower the nets, we'll lower the nets. So they lowered the nets, and pretty soon they were pulling up all kinds of fish, and the boat almost capsized.
You know, yeah.
I gotta ask you a question, something that I've been wondering for a while. How does one get into the profession of fishing? What's the start? What's the beginning?
Well, you just go. Boats are always looking for deckhands, you know.
You just go into it.
Yeah, you just start going into. One of the guys the Captain Mike in the book, he's from Cleveland, and he came down to Florida, got on a boat as a deckhand, and fished for like 15 years as a deckhand, then became a captain, and then another 15 years as a captain.
That's the way you do it.
Yeah. You're just kind of on the job training.
Very freeing type of work, fishing. You know.
Yeah, and it can get tough because with the weather and stuff. But when you're out with nature, it's very freeing. Yeah.
That's what I've always heard. I used to watch those, The Deadliest Catch. I used to watch all those shows.
Yeah.
And they all have the same thing to say, that like the work can get dangerous, but it's also rewarding in its freedom. And
yeah. You guys have some good fishing there in Texas and eastern Texas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we do.
That's where we're at.
Yeah. In fact, you guys, I heard a story, the state record wahoo, Gulf of Mexico wahoo was caught up at Texas. I think it was like 180 pounds or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Also, we got the record here in Texas for largest alligator ever caught. We got a bunch of records like that over here. My grandpa used to be a tour fisherman on Toledo Bend Lake. And every time the competitive fishing, the tours, the pro guys who fish for a living, whenever they would come down to Toledo Bend Lake, he was one of their guides.
Yeah, man.
He got them to the good fishing holes and tell them this is where you can catch some big fish.
Yeah.
So, here you touch on the subject of pirates and knowing something.
Yeah. Pirates for seasickness. It's most people don't know that beer is the best thing you can drink when you're seasick to calm your stomach. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that.
I guess what is it? When you're uneven, drinking something that makes you uneven helps, huh?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, being uneven isn't such a problem.
They said that the pirates drank rum and the regular merchant seamen drank beer.
Oh, I know. Like well, after the golden age, rum became a what's the word to give it? Ration. Rum became a ration after the golden age of piracy. But they had grog on every pirate ship had grog.
Yeah.
They also had hardtack and several other things.
Fuck hardtack, bro. Dude, that's so hard. Dude, it's like eating tile.
Eating tile.
That's why you're supposed to dip it in soups and stuff.
What would you say the biggest difference is between like ocean fishing and like fishing, like going like these competition fishing in like lakes and whatnot?
Well, the biggest difference is probably the weather. In the ocean, you always have to worry about the weather. In the lakes don't have the waves and stuff like the ocean does, so you can pretty much go out there most of the time. And anything above 5 or 6 foot waves in the ocean can get really rough and nasty. And you don't want to be out there in those conditions.
And my father, he was in the Navy. He was a Navy diver, and he told me that when I was a kid, I used to love. I still do, but when I was a kid, I used to love the water. I used to love the ocean. My dad used to always warn me and stuff like that about like you're saying, 10-foot waves, 15-foot waves. They're unforgiving, and the ocean will just sweep you away.
Yeah. There's stories like that in the book about, like I was telling you, that guy Drawbridge, man. He got caught in some 10 to 12 foot waves when he was taking that beer.
What's one of your personal just craziest times out there fishing?
Craziest times out there. Well, the story was inspired by a yellowfin tuna. We were
Yellowfin
fishing
tuna?
off the oil rigs in Louisiana, and this yellowfin tuna, he's fired a flicker in the water. It took like four hours to get this tuna to the boat, and it was a back and forth struggle the whole way. I won't tell you how it ended. You'll have to get the book, but it was fun.
I like that.
So, we all know everybody who's caught a fish this big and everybody who's caught one this big. What's the biggest fish that you ever caught?
Well, we got a couple of blue marlins, probably a couple 100 pounds.
Big marlins?
A couple 100 pounds, he says.
Yeah, no, they're big fish. So,
yeah.
you know what I mean? That's a good catch.
Yeah. The one time one struck one of our baits, and he came out of the water so strong. I talk about it too, and you wouldn't believe the power that these things have. It was incredible. I've never felt anything like that in my life. And but that one we didn't catch though. He came off, but boy, did he make an impression.
So when y'all are fishing out there for marlins, I always notice in the videos that everybody has a bunch of tape wrapped around their fingers, and I've always assumed that's not to get cut by the lines, right?
Yeah, that's what that's for. Yeah, you can easily.
Does it help? Like I've always wondered, does it cut into the tape?
No, if you put it good enough and you put the right stuff around the tape, you won't have a problem.
Because I had a thought to myself, like, if it cuts into your fingers, that's bad. But if it cuts into the tape, maybe the tape gets a good grip on it, and you can.
We used to use gloves. We'd have gloves, wire leader gloves. Yeah. That's better than tape.
Yeah, I've only ever been lake fishing. I've never been ocean fishing. I've always wanted to.
Man, you got to do it. Go catch some groupers there off of Beaumont.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Hey, we're right here. We're
like 45 minutes away from Galveston.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes from Beaumont.
Yeah, man, get right there. They can catch a lot of nice snappers, groupers, you name it.
Oh yeah.
Woo! I say this is
what. So what got you into fishing? Like, what made you decide that you were gonna take ocean fishing as your career?
I always liked it. From the time I was a little kid. I used to go with my dad. We used to go in New Jersey. We'd catch bluefish in the summer. We'd catch cod in the winter. Every once in a while, an albacore tuna, something like that. But I liked it back then. I liked freshwater fishing too back then. I used to catch bluegills and sunnies and stuff. But I always enjoyed it. And then I moved to Florida when I was about 23, 24. And I started fishing down here. And I've always liked it. I still do.
Have you ever partaken in any type of net fishing, like crabbing or shrimping or anything like that?
We catch bait sometimes with nets.
Catch your bait.
Yeah.
I say my uncle used to own a shrimping boat, and we used to go shrimping in Louisiana.
Oh, cool, man! One of the stories in the book is about a shrimp boat that we fished around one morning when we got up, and it was loaded with fish, because they attract the fish, all the shrimp that fall through the nets. Yeah.
So your book is what's the word? It starts with the A, an anthology.
Oh yes, an anthology.
Anthology. So your book is an anthology.
Well, I guess you could call it that. It's a collection of stories. Yeah. Look, anthology.
Yeah.
And we've also heard that you were you did poetry.
Yeah, I did a book of poetry a couple of years ago before this one.
What inspired you to do that poetry book?
I was that one was more political. This was more like sports. That one was about someone who was running for office in San Francisco.
Right.
And, I started writing poems about that, and
were you inspired by her?
Yeah, she was a good candidate. She was trying to dethrone Nancy Pelosi, but it didn't work out.
You know what?
I read that poem.
She didn't do it though. I guess not. Nancy Pelosi. She must have.
Yes, I know.
She must have made deals with somebody nefarious. Damn that Nancy.
Yeah.
So, if I go out and pick up a copy of A Flicker in the Water, what is your personal favorite story from that book?
The story about the tuna. It's got to be. That's what inspired the book.
The tuna in general that inspired the whole book. That's got to be your favorite. All right.
That's what inspired the title, but I love them all though.
How big was that tuna again?
The tuna was probably like 300 pounds.
Oh yeah,
Oh my!
I knew it wasn't gonna be like 100 or something. Tuna, they big fish, man.
That's
Yeah.
fucking big. Yeah, dude, that's big fish.
Yeah.
Tuna is big fish. It costs 25 cents at this Walmart.
Well,
That's how the fucking fishers get paid, bro.
when you measure the meat versus everything else,
I guess so.
like, yeah.
Maybe that's why it's so, because it's so big. The meat that comes off.
Wasn't that movie the Perfect Storm? Weren't they trying to catch tuna in that movie?
Yeah, and
They were going for swordfish.
desperate.
Hold on, what was you saying?
They were going for swordfish.
Oh, swordfish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were so dead. Oh, but they.
Because
dude,
swordfish
it's such a
is
good
expensive. It's sold at fancy restaurants
fucking-
at high
it's such a fucking
prices.
Good movie, man.
Is there any like ocean fishing films or films that depict ocean fishing? Any films that depict ocean fishing
Correctly, accurately.
accurately?
Well, you mean like a movie or like the shows you would see on TV, like
In
sports?
general.
In general.
Well, the sports shows, they show you the good parts usually. They don't tell you about the ones that got away.
Right.
Well, like,
So, like,
let's say,
in the
we
world of,
mean the
like,
fictional shit.
Like in the
you
world
know?
of movies like The Perfect
Well, of course,
Storm,
the
movies
fishing
like
shows.
Captain Ron, all these movies that are about fishing, like which one of them kind of gets it right?
Perfect Storm was pretty good, I thought. They pretty
Well,
much got it
like
right.
they're fishing for 5 minutes, then man.
Sometimes they saw all the warning signs that they should have gotten out of there, and shouldn't have taken on that storm. But
Oh yeah, it's
you
gonna.
look back and say, hey,
And
we
the
should-
fact that the
Nonsense.
captain, the fact that the captain overpacked them with the swordfish, he weighed the
Yeah.
ship down.
all that, yeah.
Oh fuck! It's such a goddamn good movie.
Have
man.
you personally ever been in a
Situation, anything
uncomfortable
like that?
situation on the ocean?
Hurricane,
Yeah,
big storm.
Not a hurricane, but
Right.
storm. Yeah, there were a couple times you would hang on for dear life, because I've had maybe 6 to 8 foot waves. I've never done the 10 to 12s, but 6 to 8 will knock you around pretty good.
So you've been caught in a storm before?
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, bro. That's hardcore.
Now, what's crazy enough is I was actually once offered a job on a fishing boat before.
And you don't fucking take it?
No, I was talked out of it because they said it was so dangerous. Like,
That's why you take it.
what is the danger level like of this job? Like, what's the actual danger level? You
still have that contact?
you doing it for so many years.
Can you get me a job?
Like, would you, like, someone who's like tepid, or maybe like, I don't know, like an average Joe, would you offer the
Fucking pussy.
would
That's
you-
what you're talking about.
would you offer the average Joe this job, or do you needed someone that can handle the extremeness?
Well, you have to be tough. You gotta, or it'll make you tough real quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the commercial fishermen, they go out in all kinds of weather. If you're lucky enough to do it recreationally, you can kind of choose when you want to go. But these guys, they go through thick and thin, and it toughens them up real quick.
Oh yeah.
Like the crab guys, the lobster guys, those types, especially up there in the cold weather, man, that's really tough.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about when you mentioned the crab and lobster guys. I was like, don't those guys usually work in the cold?
In the cold, yeah, but they do it.
It's cold as fuck. I'm wet as fuck.
But
So
I guess if you could rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the danger of that job?
Man, I would probably say 8 or 9 or 10 even. Sometimes.
Woo! Yeah, it's
Yeah.
extreme.
Right, 9 out of 10.
Crabbing?
That's some dangerous ass work right
Yeah.
there.
Crabbing?
Well, I mean, it's just if you just slip up, if you're just slightly dumb, you're just gonna fall off and die. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do in the ocean?
I'm not that dumb.
I'm not saying
Well, you just said, though, that you're not that intelligent, so I wouldn't get on a fishing boat if I was you, buddy.
I think I can handle it. Look,
Hey, we're not talking about how tough the job is. We're talking about how smart you got to be to not die.
All right, well, I think I might.
Yeah, I mean, for these guys, every time they go out,
might
there's a
be
risk.
smart enough. Might be.
What was you saying, sir?
Every time these guys go out, there's a big risk involved, you know.
Oh yeah.
Every time.
I mean, it pays well if you know, every time they come back, but that's the risk they take.
So, have you ever been fishing off of like Galveston any?
No, not off of Texas. I've fished off the Keys. I fished in the Bahamas before, New Jersey, Virginia, but
All the really nice places.
well, New Jersey gets cold too, man.
What's your most memorable fishing spot?
My most memorable fishing spot, the fish we caught a red snapper one time that was like 3 pounds off the state record in Florida. It was 42 pounds, and the spot was found by accident. We saw it in the depth finder as we were just traveling, and we put down the bait, and we caught a big 42-pound snapper. That's probably my most memorable spot.
Oh yeah, it sounds so fun.
That sounds like I know. I mean, find one out of nowhere. That's always the best way to find a fishing spot.
One. Yeah. That happens too. You know, that's something when you least expect it. You know.
Yeah, that's a sad thing. Like I hate to say this, but my dad always tried to get me into fishing, and I've never really been a big fisher guy. I don't know what it is, but like I've always had bad luck with fishing. Like literally, I think like we would fish off a pier, right? And you're supposed to fish off the pier, right? Well, I decided to cast my fishing pole into the middle of the pier, but I threw my fishing pole in, and they were like, "That's literally the deepest part of the pier. Like no one can get your fishing pole. It's lost." And I don't know. I've always had that. I've always had bad luck with fishing, bad experiences. So I've never really been able to get into it.
Would you never go again after that?
What would you say to somebody to try to inspire them to get into it?
Start over.
There you go, Adam, right there. I mean, you fell off a horse, bro. You got to get back on and try to ride again.
Yeah.
Well, when you catch the bug of getting a good fish once, it makes you want to do it again. You get it twice, you never want to stop.
What's the personal feeling you get out of fishing?
The adrenaline rush that you get when you get that bite, there's nothing like it. You know, it's just incredible. It's just captivating. You know, it's man against beast. You know, it's. You get that.
I'd say that with maybe real fishing, like saltwater fishing. Freshwater fishing is so tamed.
I'll say this. Like, I used to go fishing on Toledo Bend Lake with my grandpa, who used to tour with those professional guys. And when you have a catfish so big that no matter what line you use, he snaps it, you know, like he's saying, that adrenaline rush. You want to pull that big fucker in the boat. Yeah. You want to have a giant catfish fry.
I never thought you could ever catch adrenaline from freshwater fishing.
Oh yeah. Wait till you
oh my God.
Get a 6-foot alligator gar on the line and let him pull the line way out there and try to pull him back in.
Those do exist.
It's fun. Yeah, no, it's real fun. I've been fishing since I was a little kid. The only thing I can regret is the fact that when it comes to fishing, I've never saltwater fished in my life. I've only freshwater fished.
That's fun too, man.
Oh yeah. My granddad used to take me to the Toledo Bend Dam.
Yeah.
And they got catfish down there this big around, you know what I mean? 6 feet long.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catfish.
I went to Lake Livingston.
Catfish fishing is like pretty big around this area. Like everybody's always fishing for catfish.
It's a good fried food, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You know, here you could get saltwater catfish too. They have that.
Well,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anything we ever ask
right here, right off the dock, you can catch catfish.
Where's a good spot to saltwater catfish?
Right here on the docks in Destin. Right
Destin,
Florida.
If you needed to, if you wanted to, one thing we always ask our guests of, if you want to plug anything, would you like to do so? And now is your time.
To plug anything? Yeah, I want to plug the book, man.
There we go.
Yeah,
Flicker in the water.
Yeah.
By Bob Gonzalez. Everybody check that book out.
Yeah. Amazon.
Yeah, dude, I'm definitely gonna read it.
Now, Adam always has 2 questions that he'd like to ask everybody that comes on the show.
Yeah,
this is his 2 personal.
Well, it's very clear.
So we're broke people, so Zoom is telling us we're out of time.
Okay.
but I'm gonna ask these 2 questions, and we'll try to keep it, because this is a fun conversation. We'll try to keep it going as long as we can. I do have to ask 2 weird questions to you. Have you been asked to join the Illuminati? And if you are asked to join the Illuminati, will you?
No and no.
No and no.
There you go. That's a good man right there.
Control the world.
And then the second question we ask everybody: Nickelback or Creed?
Beatles.
The Beatles.
Oh, no. I know the Beatles are awesome. Quit clapping.
I ain't going. No. Fuck you, Nickelback and your
Fuck
Creed.
you.
I'm clapping
Fuck
for this man.
Fuck you. No.
This man.
You gotta choose one.
No, he doesn't. He
God
picked
damn it.
one.
No.
The
I know
Beatles.
the Beatles are awesome.
Yeah, the Beatles. So Nickelback.
But Nickelback.
No.
Nickelback was 1990s Beatles.
Hey, he's not looking at that graph. Okay, he doesn't care.
Now I'm actually I'm probably gonna check out your book. I'm probably gonna get it because I mean I think that's really awesome. I think the idea of the ocean fishing life and reading the stories about it is very interesting to me. I've never really considered it, but you know, we had been like looking you up whenever we found out we were going to do this interview with you. We were looking it up, and it was just like, yeah, that's like a crazy thing. Like, you know, like
It's an adventure, man, going
There's some
out.
humor in there too. I think you guys will enjoy. The stories. There's some funny moments that are like I say about Drawbridge. He had more stories than Popeye the Sailor Man, but he didn't get his strength from spinach. He got it.
True that. You're a big sports guy. I'm sure you're happy that the Astros are about to beat that Florida team.
Fuck yeah. Texas.
I'm a Rays fan, man.
Yeah, exactly. We got the Astros in a few weeks. They're going to be destroying the Rays.
I thought that
The Astros are gonna beat the Rays.
In a few weeks, bro.
They were. I get it. They were a championship team like 4 years
Texas.
First of
ago.
all,
Hashtag
didn't Astros just win last year?
Astros are good, man. I thought when they traded Carlos Correa, they might not be as good, but they're just as good or better.
See that?
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Adam? That's just your opinion.
No, it's fucking literally statistics.
And that's all we have here are
Opinions and beer.
We are a millions and billions to subscribe for more